genre.
Welcome back to The Doctor's Companion presents Doctor Who The Long Way Around, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss every episode of Doctor Who, one doctor at a time. I'm Scott Corelli.
I'm Cassandra Fredrickson.
And I'm Nick Jimenez.
And today on the show, we are discussing Invaders from Mars, the Eighth Doctor's sixth story. This is the opening story of Season 2 of the Eighth Doctor Adventures, produced by Big Finish Audio. And this particular story is written and directed by Mark Gatiss. And it's sort of a play on the War of the Worlds broadcast and the like. There's not a lot of sort of like background information that I've got on this. The two, there are a few things, but nothing that has like a story attached to them. But one is that they begin introducing in this episode, they begin sort of, weeding in, alternate history, concepts through the stories that will eventually build to the sort of overarching story that they're trying to tell with Charley Pollard as a woman out of time, and she has affected history in sort of subtle ways, like in this episode, Orson Welles not knowing who Shakespeare is, and also Lamborghinis existing like 40 years before they're supposed to, and things like that. So there's like little things in here that they are just sort of like, I don't know. I would almost say they're like lazily putting in, because they're putting them in there, but they're not calling enough attention to them being weird.
Right.
That they feel like anomalies. They really just mostly just feel like facts that Mark Gatiss got wrong. Like the CIA existing, 20 years before it's supposed to, and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess apparently like that was all done on purpose and would be paid off over the course of the second and third seasons of the Eighth Doctor Adventures. But that was this was sort of the beginning of that. The other big thing is the cast of this, which is really interesting. One, Mark Gatiss plays the radio announcer in the War of the Worlds broadcast and things like that. Katie Manning plays a guest at the reception in the reception scene. Of course, Katie Manning being previous Third Doctor companion. And near and dear to Nick and I's heart, Jessica Stevenson plays Glory B.
Oh.
And
oh my God.
And Simon Pegg plays Don Chaney.
What?
I frigging knew it. I knew it. Oh, I feel so vindicated right now. Oh, I really do. I remember yesterday being like, that sounds like American accent Simon Pegg, but that's crazy. Why would that happen?
That's amazing.
Oh,
well, great. they were on each other's shows, if you remember. Mark Gatiss was big in the comedy community at this time, and this was
had a very memorable appearance on Spaced.
Yeah,
exactly. And this actually came a year after his memorable appearance on Spaced. So
he did an American accent,
right? Very true. Yeah, because this was 2002. This was released in 2002, and that was 2001. So actually, it's probably really just a few months, because this was January of 2002. So these two things were done kind of simultaneously. It might have very well have been a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of situation. And as we know from the very next story that we're about to cover, Simon Pegg is a Doctor Who fan because he is in The Long Game, which is the next story we're going to.
Whoa! I'm just having it's a real Peg timber.
Yeah,
I just watched a movie Terminal yesterday with Margot Robbie.
Oh yeah, how was that? Was that? It looked weird, but like maybe in a fun way. Was it good?
Well, you know me. I will forgive a lot if I enjoy the performances in a movie.
Sure.
And that was definitely an example where Margot Robbie was, they gave her a lot of fun stuff to sink her teeth into, and Simon Pegg was reliably great. And Mike Myers. I'm a Mike Myers defender. In terms of his performances in movies. Where I think he's a lot better. So they let him do some weird stuff. I thought it was worth watching.
Okay, cool.
Especially if you're a Peg completist like Scott.
That is actually accurate. Yeah. I still haven't seen that Australian movie that he was in though.
Oh, was it the one?
The one where he's a hitman?
Oh, Kill Me 3 Times. That I actually have seen.
Yeah. With the he's got like the biker stash going on,
and the third Hemsworth.
Oh right, that's right. For some reason, Australian crime thrillers are not just in my purview at all. I don't know why.
I don't think that it's worth excusing.
All right, that comes up. It weirdly Australian crime thrillers comes up a lot in like
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, like cinephile stuff. Like people are always recommending Australian crime thrillers, and I'm always just like, I don't know.
I
just don't watch it.
I'm kind of that way when it's like Juliette Binoche, and I shouldn't say that. I love Clouds of Salisbury, but I do get what you're saying when you see a trailer for. Usually, if it involves like, look at this interesting thing the Queen did in like 1875, I'm like, pass. Cool.
Yeah, Egypt is the other thing for me. Egyptian stuff just doesn't. I don't know.
So like even the Mummy.
The Mummy is different because it's like I don't know. It's like adventure-y.
Right. They kind of found a way to make you care. By Indiana Jonesing it. Yeah. But like anything that like, I don't know. Cass, does this remind you of anything? Do you have any like really hyper specific
blind spots?
Yeah. That you're like, no.
I just have blind spots in general. Like, I don't know, maybe blindfolds. Cause like I don't watch, you guys watch more movies than I do. So.
Sure. But yeah, and like rom-coms aren't really your...
Yeah, they're not really my jam.
That's
not a blind spot. That's just me painting over an entire genre, perhaps unfairly, but whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're talking about, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, but yours is like super niche, like Australian crime thriller.
yeah, but like I don't say we're sure that The Rover and Animal Kingdom are great films, but it's just like for whatever reason, it's just not doesn't get you or doesn't that doesn't make you sit down. Whereas getting back to the story, I one of the opposite of a blind spot for me. I am a big time mark for anything in like the 30s in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Like Depression era New York. I'm just an absolute sucker for.
Well, let's get into it then. Invaders from Mars, written and directed by Mark Gatiss. Produced by Gary Russell and Jason High Ellery. Published by Big Finish Productions. Airdate January 2002. Attempting to deliver Charlie to her rendezvous in Singapore, 1930, the Doctor overshoots a little, arriving in Manhattan on Halloween of 1938. Once there, they come across the body of a private detective named Halliday, who was killed with a ray gun by two criminals named Mouse and Ellis while robbing their boss, Don Chaney, of his otherworldly weapons in order to sell them on the black market. When the Doctor and Charlie go to Halliday's office to investigate his murder, the Doctor is mistaken for Halliday by a potential client named Glory B, who is looking for her missing uncle, a Russian atomic scientist. The Doctor suspects this may have something to do with Halliday's death and takes the case. Meanwhile, Don Chaney finds out about Mouse's betrayal and reveals that he has a creature in his custody that builds the otherworldly weapons for him. After getting some information from Mouse about the rivals he was selling the weapons to, Chaney feeds Mouse to the creature. At CBS Radio Studios, Orson Welles is preparing for his now infamous War of the Worlds broadcast when a network chairman named Bix Biro enters the broadcast booth and makes some last-minute changes to the wiring in order to plant an additional signal to the Halloween broadcast. Biro is being manipulated by Cosmo Divine, a gossip columnist and a secret Nazi spy, who has kidnapped Biro's lover, Jimmy, and will kill him if Biro does not comply. Cosmo was also the buyer of the weapons that Ellis and Mouse were attempting to sell when they were interrupted by Halliday. Cosmo also has Charlie kidnapped in order to question her about her and the Doctor's involvement in everything, revealing that he knows about an alien ship that landed nearby last month and that one of the aliens is now in Don Chaney's custody. Meanwhile, the Doctor and Glory B find the missing Russian scientist at Chaney's hideout looking after the alien in the tank. But when the Doctor introduces himself in Glory B, the scientist claims to not have any family, and Glory B reveals herself to be a secret Russian agent who is here to bring the scientist, a US defector, back to Russia along with the alien technology and his atomic bomb. Chaney finds them trying to escape and threatens them with the alien technology, having already made a deal to sell the alien and tech to the CIA. Across the bay in New Jersey, two bat-like aliens named Streeth and Norium arrive in search of a lost breeding party, threatening to destroy the planet in the process. They encounter Charlie and Ellis, who have escaped from Cosmo Divine and are forced into helping the aliens track down Earth's defenses as the War of the Worlds broadcast begins to cause a panic in the city. Tracking the otherworldly weapons to Chaney's hideout on the Brooklyn Bridge, the aliens attempt an attack but only manage to kill Glory, who falls to her death. Chaney and the others run back inside and are found by Cosmo Divine and a squad of German soldiers here to claim the alien technology for themselves, only to find that the alien creature has asexually reproduced and the hungry offspring attack the German soldiers. The others flee, but the Russian scientist is overtaken by the creatures and presumably killed. Cosmo, Chaney, and the Doctor are intercepted by Streeth and Norium, reuniting the Doctor with Charlie. The aliens claim that they are just the first of an invasion, but the Doctor realizes that this is not the case. In fact, Streeth and Norium are just two alien criminals running an intergalactic protection racket in which they release a breeding party on a planet and then offer to protect the planet from invasion for a price. Cosmo tries to use this to his advantage by creating an alliance with the aliens, killing Ellis when he objects. The Doctor and Charlie manage to get away, heading toward the CBS radio studios with a plan to use the War of the Worlds broadcast to trick Streeth and Norium into believing that a real invasion from Mars is happening and causing them to flee the planet. Once in orbit, they realize it was a trick and attempt to return, but the Russian scientist, who has barely survived the attack by the alien offspring, appears on their ship and sets off his atomic bomb. The explosion is written off as a meteor and hysteria driven by the War of the Worlds broadcast as the Doctor and Charlie take their leave. So this story, I don't know. I'm curious about everybody's overall thoughts because, mine to begin with, I would say the majority of the American accents in this are pretty much as questionable as Minuet in Hell. There's a few, obviously, Don Chaney was okay, and I would say Glory was probably fine. For the most part. I mean, the problem is that a lot of them were really cartoonish. Mm-hmm. They reminded me of the Weasels in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
But yeah. So overall, I think that like a great many Mark Gatiss things, I think that there were a lot of really clever ideas in this. But there were too many of them to do any of them justice. And all of them sort of all of those parts went together and made a story that I was just I guess. I just, it was just sort of I was over and I just kind of shrugged my shoulders and was like, all right, I guess we got to talk about that for 20 minutes. But there's clever stuff in here. I love the idea of aliens coming to Earth and creating a protection racket for the planet, alien gangsters. I think that's a really clever idea.
Yeah, that's like a very Rowling idea.
Mm-hmm. I really like that. But, and in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes up at some point in like the Fantastic Beasts movies, because you're right, it does seem like a J.K. Rowling kind of idea. But just like a Muggle protection racket. But it's
you want these Muggles to get funny things happen to Muggles when they travel from place to place.
But I love that idea on its own. With the detective story and the Don Chaney keeping an alien for its technology and things, so he could like burn people and stuff with the laser guns. That's all good stuff. But then it's like, then we get into the world things, and it really just feels like that was his initial idea, and then he went off the rails, and then wouldn't ever, like, he just wouldn't relinquish War of the Worlds. Like, it doesn't feel like that belongs in this at all. And I know that it sort of like ties up there toward the end with where the doctor tricks them into thinking there's a real invasion coming and that the protection racket is going to get in trouble or whatever. But it's, I don't know. And then just out of nowhere, it's like the guy builds the atom bomb. It's just like, there's so many things. It's too many things and not enough time spent on any of them, I think.
That's
definitely. So ever since we started this round, we would sort of say in reference about the audio story, like, or at least I would say, all it has to do is be better than Minuet in Hell.
Yes.
And it's to me, it's just it's so interesting. While I was listening to this, I was thinking about that because it is similar to Minuet in Hell in ways that I really wasn't prepared for, that I kept being like, whoa, wait, why? We're like the fact that it's, a lot of kind of questionable American accents and like kind of going on these weird tangents and like a little bit of weird misogyny sneaking its way back in, which I wasn't a fan of. But that being said, this is, much less painful than Minuet in Hell. And there is a lot of fun stuff. And, I did kind of enjoy the setting, but like there really wasn't, it kind of did just fall off and like when they did bring it back to Orson Welles it just felt so like, oh, right, this was supposed to be about the Invader from Mars thing. It felt so tacked on to me. But I thought it was really fun. I thought the characters were interesting and, like it had some interesting ideas. Kind of like Mark Gatius's proper episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hate this cast?
No, it was fine.
Okay.
The thing that made me laugh the hardest was the fact that the mob boss is named Don Chaney and everyone called him the Phantom, who was played by Lon Chaney. And I was just like, haha, you clever guy.
Yeah.
But, it was fine. I wasn't expecting a lot because it was Mark Gatiss, but I was expecting it to be better than Minuet in Hell, which it was. So that's fine.
Mm-hmm. It was, and I guess we shouldn't bury the lead and really, mention the, hella problematic moment in this.
Yes.
Not only do they drop the F word, like slang sort of hate speech word. The slur, right.
Not the verb.
It is also toward a homosexual Nazi sympathizer.
It feels in the weirdest way, it almost, even its problematic stuff feels retro. Like, cause like, even that, the idea of like a fae kind of like villain comes like, it's like kind of like Peter Lorre in Casablanca, which is even then part like kind of the more problematic part of that movie,
Yeah.
Like making your villain or making your like, it was just such a weird, and it came out and it reminded me of Minuet in Hell, where it was just like, get this out of my Doctor Who. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was very jarring. When the F word is used. in a Doctor Who story.
But yeah, but like, and we don't really know. Well, I don't really know. I don't really know the history or relationship that the UK has with that word. So like, but I don't know. But like, so I guess because like, and I was thinking about like, oh, what year did this come out in? You know, and
Yeah.
2002.
Yeah.
It still wasn't good to use even then. Not that it ever was, but
Right.
You know,
Sure.
there was times in the 90s where it was mostly accepted, unfortunately.
Oh, I would say even like around like, I mean, the freaking Hangover. You know, that was like in the trailer.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jeez.
It's very. I think it's very recent. Just now that it's been kind of like, you know, rightly so, of course. But it is interesting what. Like, yeah, it just slips through in our media.
Mm-hmm. The cover of this story, the cover of The Big Finish, it is one of the most magnificent things I've ever seen.
Right.
And I have you guys seen it?
No.
Do you guys know what it is? Oh man.
Well, is it the one that's on the TARDIS wiki?
No, it's not. It's not that one.
Okay, cool. Because that one's okay.
That is, I think that might be the original release, but they Big Finish Audio, they redesign the way all of their stories look every once in a while, and every time they do, they sort of retroactively change the old ones as well.
Oh my god. What?
Wow. You know. Oh my god. Well, thank you so much for sharing this, because you just reminded me of my very favorite part of the episode, which were the bat things, the Batmen.
Yeah.
This looks like, you know, when you see like those photoshopped Google images of like an episode 9 poster.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or like, look, it's a what if Justice League and Avengers beat up each other, and it's like them like just bad Photoshop.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like Common as the Green Lantern, you know.
It's just really weird that this is a spaced reunion.
Yeah, they're really pimping Simon Pegg and Jessica Hines and A. Stevenson's. You know, they're not
image. Names?
Yeah, or because it's like featuring Simon Pegg, Jessica Stevenson.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are in a lot of it.
Yeah.
They
Jessica
each
Hines
get
a Russian spy.
Yeah, I was going to say, they each get a cliffhanger. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I don't know. This story, man, it's just, there's a lot in it. There's a lot going on. These two aliens, though, I swear, I think that's the most clever part of the whole thing. Like, the War of the Worlds thing is whatever. The guy they got playing Orson Welles, like, I had to keep reminding myself that was Orson Welles, because it's like, it's such a subtle, impersonation that it doesn't even really work.
Sure. He's no Maurice LaMarche, that's for sure.
Yeah, because I mean the thing about like when you watch what was the World War II bunker episode with Churchill?
Oh yeah,
Victory of the Daleks, right? Yeah. So like with Victory of the Daleks, at least there, he's doing a bad impression of Churchill, like a really bad impression of Churchill. But he looks like Churchill. He's dressed like Churchill, so you can kind of just roll with it. But in audio, it's just so like unforgiving.
Yeah,
it's just so unforgiving that. You can keep telling me this is Orson Welles, but like I may not know many things, but I know damn well what Orson Welles sounds like, and this guy doesn't sound anything like Orson Welles.
It's like you know, if there were ever a medium or a format to where that would lend itself to something a little more broad stroke, I think it would be like a Doctor Who audio story set in New York in the 30s. You know?
Yeah,
just like. Embrace it, go full P commercial.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because Orson Welles talking to the Doctor. I just feel like that. I don't know, but maybe that's because that's what I am naturally interested in. I wanted it to be more about that and not the Bat People. But I did enjoy liking the Bat People.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they were the alien mobsters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, I just kept picturing the Bat guy from Great Mouse Detective.
That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, it was so funny. I was reading up on reading reviews of this, and it really does seem to be like there are some people that just absolutely love this. And I will say, I mean, good on Margaitis, I guess, for trying to direct this as like an old style radio drama.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the whole thing kind of feels like that sort of old school radio drama, like radio serial kind of vibe to it. You know, I get what he's going for, but I'll be honest, I got confused about what was happening a lot.
Yeah,
in this.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think it, I don't know. It just wasn't, you know, there's an art to making your listeners know for sure what exactly is going on at every moment without like making, you know, without creating like awkward dialogue to explain it, but you still need to explain it. You can't just roll with it and pretend that people are seeing what they're not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's yeah. So there was a lot of moments that were really confusing in this. Man, the guy at the top of this image, I guess that's the guy that's supposedly playing Orson Welles, I suppose, but he really just looks like dude from Speed Racer.
Racer X?
No, the other one. Like actually like Speed Racer. Speed? Yeah. What's that actor's name?
Oh, Emil Hirsch?
Emil Hirsch. He looks like Emil Hirsch.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Yeah. That was like not finding your keys, but like a sentence.
Yeah. Emil Hirsch's keys.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So I don't know. What else?
I once again was really disappointed with the use of Charlie in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, again, not nearly as offensive as Minuet in Hell, but in this case, it was just more like, yeah, she gets captured.
Yeah, she gets kidnapped.
She gets kidnapped in episode 1, drugged in episode 2, escapes in episode 3, and then like just sort of tails behind the Doctor in episode 4 and does really nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like it's like what a waste, because like, I mean, thinking back on that first episode when they were like on the dirigible or whatever, and she was so like everything I ever wanted in a companion. I mean, like we're even talking about that, and so it's just a bummer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is when Charlie doesn't have anything to do, she is just like one of the most forgettable companions. Then when she's on, she's like one of the best, but she's not on very often, unfortunately. I think the problem with Charlie as a Eighth Doctor companion is that she, like, I think Big Finish's instinct was to give the Eighth Doctor an Edwardian style doctor, an Edwardian style female companion,
right? And
it's like they're just too samey. Kind of. That's why when later in her storyline, she becomes the companion for the Sixth Doctor in some audio adventures, and that's really good stuff because they don't feel so samey.
You can't stand there. That's where I stand. And she's like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. And then the Eighth Doctor is much better with Lucy Miller, who is my favorite companion. And they just announced they're bringing her back to do more Eighth Doctor adventures that sort of slip in between the original seasons that they did together. So that's exciting. I'm excited to hear more Lucy adventures because I never thought I'd see her again. So that's a lot of fun. But Lucy Miller, that's my go-to Eighth Doctor companion. And Charlie's fine, but I do think that she's better with the Sixth Doctor rather than the Eighth Doctor. I just think she has more to do with the Sixth Doctor than she does with the Eighth Doctor.
Sort of a Clara Oswald situation.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know if I've ever heard any Lucy Miller stuff.
I don't think you have. I think we've talked about this before. I don't think you got that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Lucy Miller seasons is when they switched the Eighth Doctor format to the New Who format, which is single part 45 minute
yeah,
episodes.
no, I definitely haven't gotten there then.
Yeah. So those ones are going to be a lot of fun when we get there. I'm really excited about that. But that's a while away. At least at the very least another half dozen stories away. At the very least. That's if I fast forward, which I very well may, because there are a lot of Eighth Doctor stories at this point.
Yeah.
He's been around. I think he might have the most stories of any Doctor, to be honest.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Praise be.
Yeah. Praise be. My God. Anyway. Yeah, so not as like fun and Halloweenish as I wish it was.
No, definitely not. Jeez, I didn't even think about it in that lens.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a Halloween story.
Oh, well, yeah, immediate downgrade.
That's weird that it came out in January if it's supposed to be a Halloween story.
That is super weird. You're right. Yeah, I don't like that. Maybe it aired in on BBC Radio in October of that year, but came out on Big Finish.
Oh,
Like it was like a Big Finish release in January.
Yeah,
because they did release these on the radio at the time, just like way later.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Spaced Reunion. That's weird.
that is super weird. I remember thinking that Glory B's like accent was not very good, but that's
Which one?
both
which
of them.
accent?
I mean, I think it's funny that it's a British woman pretending to be a Russian woman pretending to be an American. So I guess I don't know. I love her, so I forgive her. But like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and also wasting your Heinz Nay Stevenson.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they would they would not learn the lesson with Simon Pegg, but they would definitely learn the lesson with her because she has a much better role in series 3 of Doctor Who.
Wait, what?
Which we will get to in due time.
Oh my God. That is her.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that episode since I've watched Space. So I'm just like, what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, okay. Awesome.
Human nature,
Yep,
family of blood.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean she has a great role on Doctor Who. Simon Pegg not so much. Kind of wasted Simon Pegg twice. To be honest.
Huh.
Yeah. But we'll talk more about wasted Simon Pegg.
That'd be a fun list to make as like top 10 top 10 biggest like Doctor Who, like like Bill Nighy and Vincent of the Doctor.
I don't feel like that's a waste.
Yeah, that's not a way. I mean, it is.
No.
I mean, it's not. It's not. It's just that you want more. You always want more with the Nighy.
Right. That's different. Whereas like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are both wasted on Doctor Who.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But anyway.
The Nick Frost one is arguably even bigger because of the promise made.
Right.
Oh, I know.
Right.
I know. Nick Frost is going to play Santa Claus. Oh my God. Remember how much we were anticipating that? And then it was like, psych, he's not real. He's a figment of everyone's imagination. Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah, Santa can't be real in this universe, idiots.
Even though the 11th Doctor clearly said that the Santa Claus was real.
We got to draw the line somewhere.
God, remember when we thought like Nick Frost was going to be like a Time Lord who just retired as Santa Claus? And then his sleigh was a TARDIS?
Yeah, now I do. Jeez.
Oh my God.
Instead of like, oh, see, it's more about, the idea of, everyone dies.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You never know when it's your
Everyone dies.
You never know when it's your last Christmas, and you definitely don't know whose last Christmas it just was. Good night, everybody.
Right?
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, man.
Anyway. All right. Well, that's Invaders from Mars. It is an interesting listen So I could definitely recommend it from that perspective of like,
Sure, I mean, you know, if you're a Gatiss completist, if you're a Peg completist, if you're a Stevenson completist, you know.
Yeah. So I don't know. Check that out if you so desire. And it's
I don't know why I feel compelled to do this, but I guess I just want to say I really do think Mark Gatiss is a really talented actor and talented writer and producer of the show. I don't know. I just feel like we dunk on him a lot on this show, and I don't want to get the wrong. I don't want to put the wrong idea out there.
He's really good at being consistent, but unfortunately, his consistency is not what I like. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like if you like it, there's a lot of it, and if you're not crazy about it, there's a lot of it. You know?
Right. Which was the one Mark Gatiss story that we? Oh, right. I really liked Unquiet Dead, that first one. I really like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's another one of his that I like at all. We've got Idiot's Lantern is going to be coming up soonish, and I am just it's like it's that Idiot's Lantern is in my bottom 10. Of like all Doctor Who ever. I hate that story.
I'm just gonna read these off to you guys just to get like one word, one sentence reactions in order. We got Unquiet Dead.
Good.
Idiot's Lantern. Cass.
No.
Okay, for both of them.
Unquiet Dead's fine.
Great. Yeah. Victory of the Daleks.
It's okay. It's watchable, certainly.
I like that they're in different colors. I like that they fly. Not Night Terrors.
Which one is that? Is that the
barely
doll
even remember.
one?
Yeah, that's
the
the
one.
doll one.
Okay,
it's
in
the one
in
where
the apartment block.
Yeah.
There's like an old film projector.
Yeah, it's the living doll in an apartment block, and
with like
we
the
thought
alien
it was going to
spore
be
baby thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We thought it was going to be like Attack the Block, and it really ended up being more like Lady in the Water.
Yeah.
What about well then now is Cold War the one with the old film projector?
Cold War
What's
is
Cold
the
War?
Ice Warrior in the submarine.
They're in the Ice Warrior in the submarine. Yeah,
that one I will never forgive that one for the waste. Here it is, perfect example.
Yes.
Waste of David Warner.
Absolute waste of David Warner.
Yeah. Waste of David Warner.
That man was born on this earth to be like a Time Lord god, like priest thing.
Oh my God! Imagine if he had gotten to play. Wow, man, what's the character? What's the name of the character that Timothy Dalton played?
Oh, Rassilon.
Oh hell yeah,
Rassilon. David Warner is Rassilon at some point.
Hell yeah.
Imagine David Warner playing the Gallifreyan president in at the end of
that would have been amazing.
In Hellbent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of Heaven.
He just kind of I mean this in the most flattering way, but just his face, his angles, he looks almost like a human, like Skeksis. Like that. I just imagine like with the way the Time Lords dress, he just would have looked like a Stroud illustration. It would look so good. Moving on. The Crimson Horror.
I don't even remember what that was.
No memory. It's almost like it never happened.
It's definitely the Why Are We Here Brigade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he falls into they're like melting people. They're falling into like batter or like pink stuff.
I want to say, was it the final Why Are We Here Brigade?
I think it's so.
I think
Was it after Deep Breath or before Deep Breath?
That was
definitely before because it was 11.
Oh, was it?
Oh, it was 11. Really?
Yeah. I'm looking at.
I cannot for the life of me remember the 11th Doctor in that story.
Right?
Yeah, I only know that because the thumbnail is very clearly Matt Smith in a bowler hat.
Oh, okay.
And then I
barely remember that one then.
And then we have Robin of Sherwood. Which funny story about Robot of Sherwood. My friend texted me. His roommate is a Whovian, and he was like, "Hey, my roommate keeps trying to make me watch this really stupid episode of Doctor Who where he's talking to Robin Hood, and I want to like move out forever." And I'm like, "Fair enough." Nothing's worse than someone making someone watch something they don't want to watch, and then just imagine that it's a Robot of Sherwood.
Ugh.
I don't remember if I liked that one. I think I liked the idea of that one better than the actual execution.
Yeah, like it was funny at the beginning, like when the arrow hits the TARDIS, when he's like, "There's no such thing as Robin Hood," and he's like, "So yeah, there is." And why is Robin Hood real?
I know.
Whatever.
I don't know, man.
Whatever.
I don't know, man. I think we had a lot of these questions when we covered that story.
I know, we're just doing it again. What a horrible idea this was that I had.
Yeah.
And then
speaking of which, on the other side of sorry, what was the last story?
The last two are Sleep No More in 2015 and Empress of Mars in 2017.
Oh, Sleep No More is
that
the one with the stupid Sandman crap? Because I hated that one.
That was the worst one.
Yep.
Yeah.
The found footage one.
Yes.
That was the worst Mark Gatiss episode by a mile. It's like tied with like Idiot's Lantern as like the two worst. Ugh, I don't know which one offends me more.
Out of all of, and then the last one's the other Ice Warrior one, right?
The Empress of Mars, which was fine. It was fine.
I think out of all of those, I like the Daleks the most. Maybe because there's Daleks in it.
Yeah, and they can fly.
Yeah, and there's like
colors. That's
magical colors.
Yeah.
Over a decade of Doctor Who.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I was gonna say,
I love his Sherlock episodes. I'm looking at his Sherlock episodes now, and I'm like, oh, these are good ones.
Yeah, I didn't like his Hounds of Baskerville one.
No, that one's bad.
And we'll be back in a few days to talk about the long game.